Hey everyone, before we dive in, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a new story. It really helps the channel grow, and I appreciate every single one of you. Now, let's get into today's story. Your sister needs some calm tonight, Ava. We're calling off your birthday. Mom dropped those words like she was rescheduling a quick errand, not blowing out the one night I'd been counting down to for years, my 18th. I just stood there among the fairy lights and paper lanterns still rocking in the hot desert wind, the smell of fresh-baked chocolate chip cookies drifting from the table I'd set up myself. I didn't yell. I didn't break down. I just leaned over and blew out the candles that hadn't even been lit yet, one by one, while something inside me clicked into place, quiet, cold, and permanent. They mistook my quiet for giving up. They had no idea it was the first spark of everything about to come undone. I'm Lena, and if you'd seen my family from the street, you probably would have thought we were the picture-perfect kind people secretly wish they had. Manicured lawn, glowing porch light, vacation smiles framed all the way up the staircase. That shiny outside was the whole point. My parents poured everything into keeping the mask flawless, at least for anyone looking in. Behind the front door, though, perfection always came with a bill, and I was the one who usually paid it. Growing up with Sophia meant learning how to disappear before I even knew the word for it. She was 5 years older, way louder, and, according to Mom, extra sensitive. Sensitive was the magic word that excused everything. Sensitive when she hated the new paint in her room. Sensitive when she refused the dinner everyone else ate. Sensitive when she slammed doors so hard the pictures jumped on the walls. Whenever she fell apart, the entire house rearranged itself to hold her together. And me, quiet, flexible, so much stronger than she is, Mom always said, I was supposed to just get it. Just let her have it, Ava. You're so good at sharing. That line chased me through every year of childhood, like an echo I couldn't outrun. I don't think my parents ever set out to teach me I didn't matter, but good intentions don't cancel out damage. Sophia got the brand new clothes. I got her barely worn hand-me-downs. She picked what we watched. I sat through whatever was left. She got the huge bedroom with the window overlooking the yard. I got the smaller one Mom swore had better morning light, like sunshine made up for always coming second. I tried hard not to hate it. I really did. I told myself every family has its favorites, and if I just stayed patient, maybe one day the scales would balance. For years, that hope kept me steady. Turning 18 felt different. It felt like mine. Mom and Dad even offered to throw a little backyard party. Nothing huge, but something that was actually about me. I picked out the decorations, strung the lights, baked Grandma's famous cookies from scratch. For once, the spotlight felt close enough to touch. That's why the emptiness hit like a punch. The full plates no one touched, the phone that never buzzed, the sun dropping behind the fence while I waited for guests who were never coming. I knew the truth long before Mom said it out loud. In this house, even my 18th birthday couldn't belong to me. By the time the sky went black, the backyard looked like a movie set after everyone walked off. Streamers fluttering, lights humming, me trying to make the silence make sense. I kept checking my phone, refreshing, bargaining with myself that there was traffic, a time mix-up, anything but the truth. Nothing came. At 9 sharp, the quiet got too heavy, so I went inside. Mom and Dad were curled up on the couch, the TV painting blue light across their faces. They barely glanced up, just mildly irritated, like I'd interrupted their show. Where is everybody? I asked, my voice smaller than I wanted. Dad didn't even look away from the screen. We canceled the party, Ava. You know how fragile Sophia's feeling right now. I waited for the joke that never came. You canceled my 18th birthday because Sophia's mad she didn't get her vacation. Mom sighed that tired sigh she used whenever I dared to have feelings. She's been crying nonstop for 2 days, honey. This week has been so hard on her. She was 23. I was the one turning 18. Before they could say more, footsteps came down the stairs. Sophia appeared in her satin robe, hair brushed like she was on a runway, not fresh from a breakdown. She leaned against the banister like the rest of us were lucky she showed up. What's all the noise? She asked, bored. You're stressing me out. Something in me broke, not loud, just clean. You canceled my birthday because of one of her meltdowns, I said, pointing at her. Sophia gave a slow blink, then smirked. If I can't have a good day, why should you? It's called empathy. Empathy. The word burned. I'd spent years being told to have it for her moods, her wants, her crises. No one ever asked her to have it for me. I'm done, I whispered, more to myself than anyone else. The room went still long enough for them to feel the ground shift. Then the doorbell rang. We all froze. Mom went pale. Dad finally killed the TV volume. Sophia rolled her eyes like the universe was personally annoying her. When Dad opened the door, my grandfather, Victor Hayes, stood there, tall, calm, reading the whole scene in one sweep. For the first time all night, I felt like someone actually saw me. Victor didn't rush in. He just filled the doorway, eyes moving from Sophia's robe to the dark TV to the party lights still glowing through the glass door. What exactly is happening here? He asked, voice low but impossible to ignore. No one spoke, so he looked at me. I didn't hide the tears or the shaking hands. For once, I didn't try to smooth things over. They canceled my 18th birthday, I said quietly, because Sophia was upset. Victor's jaw tightened, the way it did when he was angrier than yelling could ever show. He stepped inside and closed the door with a soft, final click. Is that true? He asked Dad. Dad swallowed. It's complicated. It's not complicated, I cut in. They told everyone I was sick, so no one would come. Mom flinched. Sophia scoffed. Victor looked at them like they'd suddenly shrunk. You canceled her 18th birthday for a tantrum. I wasn't having a tantrum, Sophia snapped. My trip got ruined. I was overwhelmed. Victor just stared until she looked away. You're 23, he said flatly. She just turned 18. Then he turned to my parents. And you went along with that? The room was so quiet I could hear the fridge humming. Dad tried again. Victor, you don't understand how sensitive. Victor exhaled, slow and heavy. I've carried this family financially for years, he said, calm but unshakable. I thought I was helping raise 2 granddaughters with fairness and respect. What I'm looking at tonight isn't respect. Mom's eyes went wide. You've helped us. He raised one hand and she stopped. Then he looked at me, softer than I'd ever heard him speak to anyone in that house. Ava, do you want to come with me? The question knocked the air out of me, not because I didn't know the answer, but because no one had ever offered me a choice before. Yes, I said steady. I saw it hit Mom, not fear of losing me, fear of what losing me would cost them. Victor nodded once. Go pack, sweetheart. For the first time in 18 years, I walked upstairs without looking back. I packed faster than I thought possible, not because I was scared they'd stop me, but because the heaviness in my chest was finally lifting. Every shirt I folded, every book I slid into the bag felt like taking back pieces of myself I didn't know were missing. My bedroom had always felt borrowed. Walking out with everything that was actually mine finally made that make sense. When I came back down with my suitcase, the tension was thick enough to taste. Mom stood by the kitchen island, arms wrapped tight around herself like she might fall apart. Dad hovered behind the couch looking lost. Sophia sat on the bottom step filing her nails like the whole night was a personal inconvenience. Victor waited by the door, patient, like he'd wait forever if he had to. Ready, he asked me. I nodded. Mom stepped forward. Ava, honey, don't do something rash. Sophia didn't mean. You canceled the party I already had, I said, calm. And you didn't even tell me. It was a misunderstanding, Dad started. No, I said. It was a pattern. Sophia huffed dramatically. Oh my God, Ava, stop playing the victim. It was just a birthday. I looked at her. You're right. People cancel things all the time. But only in this family does one daughter have to vanish so the other one can breathe. She rolled her eyes so hard I thought they'd stick. Victor's voice cut through everything, quiet but absolute. Enough. The room froze. I'm only saying this once, he told my parents. You've treated Ava like background noise for years, and tonight proved it. I'm done being part of that. Dad went white. Mom opened her mouth, but Victor shook his head. This isn't a discussion. He opened the door for me, and I walked out into air that finally felt like I could fill my lungs all the way. But it wasn't over. The next morning, my phone blew up. Mom, please come home so we can talk. Things got too emotional. Dad, your mom and I are sorry. Sophia's really fragile right now. We were just trying to keep the peace. Sophia, you're tearing the family apart over a stupid party. Grow up. I didn't answer any of them. Victor made scrambled eggs, toast, fresh strawberries. Everything smelled warm and normal. No eggshells on the floor. You're safe here, he said. As long as you need. For a whole week I breathed. No slammed doors. No tiptoeing. My friend Noah walked me home from school every day. Just checking in. No pressure. Victor sat with me at the kitchen table filling out college apps and scholarship forms, grinning like I'd handed him the moon every time I hit submit. But my parents didn't let up. The texts kept coming. We miss you. Come home. You belong here. Tell us what you need. So I did. I sent one message. Sophia moves out for good, or I'm not coming back. It wasn't revenge. It was the clearest boundary I could draw. If they picked her again, even if it meant losing me forever, at least I'd finally know where I stood. Dad replied first, we can talk about it. Mom, we just want our family whole again. Sophia, radio silence. 2 days of nothing. Then on the third day, Noah and I were walking home when a silver car pulled up slow. My stomach dropped the second I saw Sophia, leaning against the hood. We need to talk, she said. Not without Noah, I answered. She sneered at him. I'm not talking in front of your little bodyguard. Then we're done here. Her jaw clenched. You're destroying Mom and Dad. They haven't slept. They're terrified Grandpa's cutting them off financially. I stopped walking. Scared of losing money. Not scared of losing me. You're twisting everything. No, I said. I'm finally saying it straight. That's when she lost it. She grabbed my wrist hard. Noah stepped in instantly, pulling her off like she weighed nothing. Walk away, he told her. But Sophia never walks away. She got louder. You think you're hot stuff now living with Grandpa? You're nobody without this family. I was nobody in this family, I said, voice steady. Then I looked her dead in the eye. Touch me again and I call the cops. For the first time ever, she actually backed up. She knew I meant it. That night I told Victor everything. He reached for his phone to report it. I stopped him. She got the message, I said. That's enough. He studied me for a long second, then smiled, proud. Okay. 2 days later, my parents finally answered my ultimatum. We've decided Sophia stays with us. You've shown you can't be trusted. You're manipulative and ungrateful. We only wanted you home to smooth things over with your grandfather, but we'll manage without you. The words should have destroyed me. Instead, they just confirmed everything I already knew. I blocked every single one of them. And for the first time, silence felt like freedom. Sophia tried to post some vague thing online about toxic siblings. It blew up in her face. The whole extended family already knew the real story. Aunts, cousins, old family friends, they all quietly stepped back from my parents. The perfect family image didn't survive 2 weeks once I stopped holding up my corner of the lie. It crumbled slowly at first, then all at once. Dad lost clients. Mom stopped getting invites. Sophia eventually moved into a cramped apartment across town. Not because anyone made her, but because the house got too small for all the resentment. I watched from a distance, quietly. No gloating. No victory lap. I didn't wreck their lives. I just stopped letting them wreck mine. And the cracks that were always there finally showed. Life with Victor settled into something so peaceful, it almost felt made up. Mornings with sunlight on the table, coffee brewing, the soft rustle of his newspaper. No slammed doors, no bracing for the next storm. My days finally belonged to me. I crushed my senior year, sent out applications, dreamed out loud. When the acceptance letter came from a university up north, Victor hugged me so hard I thought he'd crack a rib. You earned every bit of this, he said, eyes shining. Noah drove me to visit the campus one weekend. Windows down, pine trees flashing by, music low. It felt like the start of something instead of an escape from something else. Word still trickles in about my parents, little pieces from relatives who still talk to Victor. They're not ruined in some movie villain way, just quietly coming apart the way I used to, Only now there's no one left to shrink so they can feel big. I don't celebrate it. I don't post about it. I don't need to. One night I was sitting on Victor's back porch watching the mountains turn pink in the sunset, and something inside me finally let go, like the last knot untied itself. Walking away didn't break me. It rebuilt me. If I learn one thing, it's this. Sometimes the bravest, loudest thing you'll ever do is leave the room without making a scene. My parents thought my silence meant surrender. Turns out it was the strongest boundary I ever set. And the second I stepped out of their shadow, my real life finally started. Steady, simple, mine. If anything in this story hits close to home, please know you're not overreacting. You're not ungrateful. And you are absolutely not alone. Drop your own story in the comments. I read every single one, and this community has your back. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.